lucid experience, however, shallow. Um, so we were on the highway taking Angel somewhere, whatever, influenced by the fact that we just drove to Texas and back, in reality. And the sketchy, I feel like we had stopped and unpacked and then repacked, which is why the stuff, we had suitcases sloppily strapped onto the roof, and they weren't as tight as they were and should have been initially. And so, um, my uncle was driving and he said something about them being loose, and I could see them somehow. I don't know, in a mirror. And looking back on it, I just really know why I could have seen it the way I saw it because it was almost like third person. I saw it, and the suitcase was really like shaky, and I'm like, this is gonna fall. Um, and I guess he said that to imply that we were going to, or we needed to pull over and fix it, but didn't do that soon enough because a few seconds after he said that, one of them fell off and went flying back into the little grass in the median thing. It's like, cool, whatever, we'll stop. We stopped, we pulled over. We're gonna go back to get it. But it kind of took us a while to stop. I mean, you're going 70, 80 miles per hour, so it took us a while to stop. And this one is way back. So we proceed to walk down, and I'm thinking, like, shouldn't we, like, drive? I mean, you'd have to turn around. I don't know. But anyway, and I was thinking that the median looked really nice. Like, it looked like someone's yard, like it was really big, and it had trees in it. Kind of like some of them were going down to Texas, larger, and I think I just saw a deer or two, and and a couple of them. But anyway, so whatever, we proceed to walk back, and then I passed this guy, and a weird looking guy, vague. I don't even remember what if he was black or white, but walked by him. I think I said like, "How you doing?" And I don't know if he said anything. Why he was there in this median as though this was a neighborhood, but of course it proceeds to get less logical because in the process of walking back, I started walking through apartment buildings and upstairs, and they're really narrow stairs. And I said to myself, like, oh, this makes sense. Like they're saving space by having these narrow staircases, wherever this is, and why they need to save space, I don't know. But at the time, it made sense to me that that these apartments were there, let alone that I had to walk along them to get back to where the suitcase had fallen. Um, but so I climbed up several flights of stairs, and I passed this lady, vague, but not as vague as the guy. I want to say 30 something, white lady, long hair, slightly hippie-ish looking, sandy blonde, um, maybe. But anyway, she said something like, "Are you on Twitter?" And I don't know if I said anything. I just remember walking by, or I don't know why I didn't respond, or if I heard, if she said it after I passed, so I didn't really get to. But either way, as I get up the stairs, I was thinking, well, one, I was thinking, oh, I should have said something to her. I hope she's not like, she might be like looking for me later and she'll never find me. And I was thinking that for some reason there was something I was doing that stood out to her as strange or interesting. And that's why she would want to find me on Twitter. Like, I don't know. What was I doing? I mean, the fact that I was going up these stairs, the fact that I was unfamiliar, that wasn't enough. I feel like it was something else, like carrying something. I don't know. But I started thinking like, oh man, I wish I had said something to her. And two, I started thinking like, why am I going up to the top of this building? Like, this isn't getting me where I need to go. I'm trying to get down the road to the suitcase. And so I turn around and I go back, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can say something to her on the way back. But at the same time, I guess this all the illogical nature of all of this gets to me, and I start to realize that it's a dream. So, um, I get a little too excited or worried, and I feel like I'm now going to wake myself up out of this dream. So I need to calm down, and I need to move slow, and I can feel myself starting to wake up, and it's like I'm pretty sure I'm making this happen. My own doubt and my own fear that I'm gonna wake up, I'm making it happen. But I'm making it. I'm pretty sure I was going to a false wake up anyway because it started to fade. it started to fade. Like the image started to fade, and I like closed my eyes. I don't know. It wasn't real. It wasn't a real wake up. Now the dream may have been fading for real, and even that I feel like was so much under my control, but I was doubting and fearing so much that it didn't work. Um, but it started to fade, and I was like closing my eyes, and I was trying to like I don't know, like focus and stay there. Um, and I was saying something like, well, maybe if I focus on the sound, like the picture was fading out, and I'm like felt like I was in the bed about to wake up in darkness, but I could still hear what was going on. But I don't know. I guess it fades out from there. And later on, I remember thinking something about trying to fall back asleep, and I think I was actually still asleep. So trying to fall back asleep from fake, fake fall back asleep, I was still asleep. Thinking like, oh, as I focus on sound, as I lay here and I start to hear sounds, like I mean, I've read and heard stuff about like you'll hear sounds and the dream starting to manifest in sound sometimes before the visual. Like a guy was talking about, he heard a dog. He did not have a dog. He distinctly hear a dog barking in his room. I think this was during like oh man, I'm forgetting the terminology now. Wild is it? Wake induced. Yeah, WILD maybe. But anyway, so I mean that was interesting, but I think it ended there. Going back down. Did I go back down? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the dream continued later, but that's the end of that brief moment of lucidity was all there was, unfortunately. And later on, I remember being at the house, like the family was there, and it was like a little stuffed dog, and it was walking around. And it wasn't strange that it was walking around so much that it was almost like, oh yeah, I've had a stuffed dog, stuffed animals that walk around sometimes. You know, got up and walked a couple of steps. If this was really walking around, this is crazy. Like this is impressive. Not like, oh my God, what the F is going on? How is this possible? Like, oh wow, that's impressive. Like I've seen something kind of like, no, I've never seen anything like a stuffed animal getting up and walking around. Uh, so apparently that stuffed animal wasn't enough to jolt me back into lucidity, but the apartments on the side of the interstate were. But interesting little stuffed animal, stuffed dog, I think it was. And I remember thinking like, I would much rather have one of these than a real dog. Uh, it doesn't like stink or shit all over the place or anything. It's just a little clean little stuffed animal. But yeah.